It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, ThankMeLater, and you're stupid to win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way, and the door hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping, over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin in UPX.
Welcome, fellow Uplanders, to another episode of the UPX Podcast. I am your host, Too Stupid to Win, and I'm joined by my co-host, ThankMeLater. How are we doing on this wonderful St. Patty's Day?
I am doing good. Apparently not as much into the Irish spirit as someone. My goodness.
I mean, that's pretty St. Patty's Day in a professional way.
Do you have like a suit for every holiday? Because you've had some crazy suits. Is that like your secret thing?
No, I just have Christmas and St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. All right.
I do have some crazy golf pants, so there's those too.
Did my visual just freeze, or is that me?
No, your visual just froze.
Nice.
But welcome to episode 127, and this is being recorded on March 17th, 2022, and I'm no longer reading the legal disclaimers. You can read it in the video description or the podcast description.
Nice.
It got pretty lengthy, and
that's fair.
But we do have a lot to cover this week. We do have Will You Accept That Offer going on. I'll put a couple of those together like I promised last week. So we will do that. And you said you have one for me to do. So I'm excited to look at that one and see what you cooked up for me.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like my browser has lost connection to my videos. So
oh no,
I might jump out and jump back in.
All right.
So can you handle the pressure? I know it's a lot.
I
you
think
can bring
okay.
Maybe you can bring Mossy Jake or Boulder in to cover for 30 seconds. They're in the live studio audience today.
I think I'll be okay. I'll make it.
All right, I'll be fine.
But yeah, ThankMeLater is working on the Upland.wiki. He did create a Facebook page for that. Make sure you go check that out. And the UPX Podcast does have a Facebook page itself. So definitely go ahead and like to that. We also, on top of YouTube and Twitch, we also stream to the Facebook page now. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at UPX Podcast. We do post our floors each and every Tuesday. People seem to really enjoy those. And we do get our data from upx-spark.exchange and upxland.me. So those are two very useful tools to use while doing your research for buying properties. Looks like we didn't reset the slides. So pre-show, we go ahead and go through the slides, and looks like that's the offer that ThankMeLater wants to look at the end. But bottom 5 city floors here in Upland. Detroit takes over. We finally had a couple weeks of the release and collection release, so a floor has been established. Still plenty of properties to mint, so you wouldn't expect the secondary market to be that expensive. But if you don't want to travel to Detroit, very cheap floor to get in. And it was actually up 4.5% from last week. And your cheapest US dollar floor on the secondary market. Los Angeles has been holding steady, holding down number 2. That's floors finally starting to stabilize right there, right around 7,500. UPX floors on its way up on US dollar. Chicago is still holding steady at number 3. Now, Kansas City moved up from number 5 to number 4, and Nashville crept in there as Bakerfield's floor went up. The Thrifty Trader. Ooh, that's a great question there. How much did the Thrifty Trader thing affect the floor? I bet you it did have that impact there. There's still a lot of properties that people were just selling barely over mint. So I would chalk up most of that 4% to the Thrifty Trader, in my opinion. Man, ThankMeLater's taking a minute. So the top 5 city floors in Upland. Manhattan it had a little rebound and it's sliding back down, but still at 130,000 UPX, which is a very solid floor. Now the US dollar price over there in Manhattan continues to fall. It's down 11.6%. At least it looks like the UPX floor is stabilizing. The US dollar floor will still continue to monitor. Rutherford continues its slow slide down. I wonder where some of those big East Rutherford players are at. I know they're waiting for a certain price for this floor to drop to, and then they're going to start buying up again. I'll be interested to see where that is. San Francisco is, I know ThankMeLater will be excited. San Francisco finally is making a rebound, up 17% from last week. And the US dollar is up too, over 50%. So
nice.
Big jump there. Santa Clara, it's holding nice and steady, and Oakland has stayed in at the 5th position for 2 weeks. So you have 3 cities on the West Coast and 2 cities on the East Coast as your top 5 cities overall in Upland.
Well, it's interesting too, though, because right, LA was designed to release the pressure on the West Coast, and they're talking about releasing another East Coast city to quote unquote relieve the pressure there. I'm wondering if they're watching the same thing we are. I mean, the Manhattan floor USD is under $100. Like, that's a significant difference. Is this 1 week or?
This is 1 week. I haven't got to the next slide.
Oh, so yeah, we got even bigger. Okay. But yeah, I have to wonder if the Upland team is actively watching this, and if this is going to impact whether or not they release another East Coast city, given that there's already a significant release. I mean, we all said that Manhattan, I think, at least I'll just speak for me, I've thought for a long time Manhattan was overpriced, but
I think it hit value. I think it went up quicker than we all expected, and got to it. But in respect to the rest of the cities, yeah, it's kind of overpriced. And you got a top 4 cities, and all of a sudden number 5 is just like half the value. So it's a pretty sustainable economy. Manhattan, it's just got that hype. It's only got like 49,000 properties. I know Rutherford only has like 13 or 14,000 properties, but
Manhattan only has 49,000 properties. Is that true?
Yeah, here I'll go over. Let me look it up.
Dang.
Yeah,
I don't realize how small of a release that was. Like, in hindsight, I remember feeling like it was such a big release. Like, how is all of these going to sell? I mean, they sold out. It didn't sell out right away, which I know was surprising to a lot of people. Well, it would be surprising to people today to hear that. It was not surprising to people then because San Francisco hadn't sold out either.
41,594, and that's per UPX land.
Gotcha.
Yep. So now we've tracked enough data here on the podcast now for a 30-day change for the top 5 cities. Manhattan's down 23%. Rutherford, as I said, you don't think of it because it's just a couple percentages each and every week, but overall it's down just about 19% since February 15th. San Francisco is actually up over the last month. Santa Clara has remained the same. The M Motors factory, that could play an impact on keeping that floor stable. It is smaller smaller city itself. But the Rutherford US dollar price has really dropped over the last month.
Yeah, it's surprising to me to see. I would have thought Manhattan had dropped more in the past month. I thought a month ago we were seeing prices in the 200s.
That was about 2 months ago.
That
was a little longer ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. On February 15th, it was 169,000 UPX.
Okay.
The floor.
Because I definitely remember reporting when it was over 200.
Right. That was towards the end of the year, early. It was towards the end of last year, early this year. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Absolutely. Get it. The heat maps are back. So either Steve SJR86 figured out a new code, or Upland got in contact with them, or a little of both. So our beloved heat maps are back. Really enjoy that. This is Detroit, and this is with FSA. So FSA and non-FSA properties. As you can see, the areas and the collection areas are pretty much sold out for your everyday player.
Yeah, and then also probably a couple nodes in there, right? Like it'd be
Yes.
interesting to mark on this. We should figure out like which one's a node and which one's a collection, because it's again interesting. Like you can see a lot of the smaller ones are probably nodes as well, but there's still plenty of opportunity. I think looking at this map, like what's that green square? Oh, you can't see. The green square in the bottom, next to the green square that looks like Utah. There's your tiny green square next to a red one.
Yep.
I'm curious, like what's going on with that? Like I see a couple like smaller neighborhoods. Is it a higher cost per up square? I know that's a determining factor for a lot of players that are looking to mint properties or to create a node in an area. What the heck am I trying to say there? What's the up square price? Because you can get obviously a lot more for the same price.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I thought Rogue there's a neighborhood, the Rogue. How is that not sold out? That's curious to me. It's in the 99% sold out or 90% sold out. Well, there's a couple neighborhoods that I'm surprised they'll have anything left.
I mean, it's not bad. That is the Joy Schaefer neighborhood. It's 106 UPX per up square.
That seems high for Detroit.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that seems really high for Detroit, if I'm being honest.
It is Detroit, so.
The little one is Joy Schaefer. Okay, that's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah. A lot of FSA properties still there, so.
Yeah.
And then this is taking out all the FSA properties. So if you're a veteran player and you want your piece of Detroit, you better hurry up because you'll be relying on.
Yeah, lots of FSA, which is good. This is a great opportunity. New players coming into the game, go to Detroit, check it out. There's still plenty of desirable neighborhoods that need FSA buyers. I'm sure there's still even just good properties on desirable streets or areas. Find somebody who's looking for those properties. Like for myself, I'm not in Detroit. So if an FSA player pinged me and was like, hey, I'm in Detroit, can I pick you up anything? Like I could probably find a couple FSAs to buy for a profit for them, just to help out and get some more property in Detroit.
Yeah. And then Los Angeles heat map. We are like on month 2 and still not sold out.
It's still not anywhere close to being sold out, which again, I think is good. I'm surprised the little connector piece isn't sold out. Like you can see the ones at the end, like the little add-on strip, the ones at the top and the bottom are sold out. I don't know how that middle section's not sold out. That would be such a cool node.
I think those are. I haven't looked at that.
Are
I
they
have to look at that. Not sure. I never really looked at that area. Now the interesting part there on the left, we have the overall Los Angeles map. On the right, we have the non-FSA only. So if you're looking down on the south before you get that little extending part, if you look on the FSA, you just have that one neighborhood. You got a green neighborhood, and then you got the sold out neighborhood with a green neighborhood right on top of it over by where one of the missing cities is at. And then if you look on the non-FSA, you see a lot of extra neighborhoods that are sold out. So all the FSA properties are that's the only thing left. So this is a great opportunity if you're an FSA person to jump in. Gramercy Park, Manchester Square, Chesterfield Square, Harvard Park, Vermont Slauson, and Vermont Square. So those 6 neighborhoods, you can mint stuff for anywhere between 6,000 and 6,500 UPX. And you can go ahead and flip them to veteran players, because I mean, that's a great opportunity to
Yeah,
for
like
flipping.
what's the floor? I'm curious. Like, do we have the floor numbers for those neighborhoods?
Those were the FSA floors. I didn't pull the secondary market floor on those, but
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean that's exactly what Two Stupid's mentioning. Find those neighborhoods, get a hold of these maps, review them, go, oh, let me go check the floor of those neighborhoods, because there's a good chance the floor of that neighborhood is higher than the 5,600 floor for FSA.
yeah, I'm looking right now. See, I got to get you more involved in the preps so I'd have these answers instead of you just like, hey, what about this?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. What else we got? You want to keep moving?
I got it. Hold on.
All right.
I finally got to the right screen. So right now, secondary price is right around 8,000. So it's not in high demand just yet.
I mean, 8,000 still essentially like guaranteed buffer. Obviously not financial advice, but I mean, you can see right there the current floor is higher than what you can mint for. So that's a huge advantage. Regents believes that the best deals for FSA are currently in Detroit, they believe. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I think that it would be, you're going to spend more and might not have as quick a return in LA, but I don't know. I would say, because if I was looking for an FSA buyer, it would be for Detroit, not LA. Yeah. So.
Unless you're looking for those neighborhoods for some specific reason. But
yeah, I suppose I'd have to go check out the Upland.wiki to see if they are registered nodes or some importance that I should want to get those properties.
There you go. And that's Upland.wiki.
Oh, dude, we need a banner. Okay, you keep doing this. I'm gonna.
All right. Did you have anything else on the heat maps and the floors?
No.
Right.
I'm so glad that they could work out the heat maps. Thank you, Steve. You're super legit.
Absolutely. And the Upland maps. And if you do want a link to that server, send me a DM on Discord and I'll get you a link to the Upland map server. They do good work over there. Spark Week's going on. Did you buy any Spark today?
I did not. And I had a couple people ping me about it too. Definitely some interest in the community on what my feelings on Spark buying are. Did you buy any?
I did not register. I was working, away from home this week. So it's been a little out of my routine. So I missed registering for the St. Patty's Day tour / scavenger hunt. I missed registering for that. I missed registering for Spark. So pretty much a good fail. But
wow. Yeah. So, would you have bought Spark though? Like, let's say.
See, here's what I'm wondering, because I keep talking. Pretty soon we're going to have a login bonus paid in Spark. What that reward is, not sure. What the requirements is, not sure. Probably 0.01, 0.02. I would speculate something rather small, but the founders have talked a lot about ensuring that Spark is being injected into the community at a regular pace, because you're going to need it for manufacturing. You're going to need it for, you're going to need it to fuel your cars, and it's going to be interesting. So if we continue to do a slow trickle of Spark into the community, does that devalue the $460 for one full Spark? That's where I know you're going to need Spark. And if you look at it, when they were asking for businesses for the decor shop, they wanted you to have between 3 and 5 million UPX for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you equate that to to a Spark price, you're looking somewhere around 10 Spark, and that's just like the initial investment that they were wanting you to make. So you're talking 10 Spark to manufacture. I'm curious to see how the dynamic plays out with Spark continuing to come into the community.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, I love the mechanic of Spark, and they also announced STEM, I believe, which is going to be the organic compound equivalent of Spark. So for building any like plants, animals, etc. Bought enough that I had my credit card frozen today. Yeah, so Spark, I think, is a really interesting investment angle. I personally have not bought any Spark. I still have the 9 that I was granted from the drop. I've done a couple little events and stuff like that. Okay, hear me out. So Happy Mike says it would take 460 days to get your money out at $1 a day. That is an insane ROI. Like, actually, how long does it take you on a property to get your money back on rent?
3 years. No, more than 3 years now. Yeah. It used to be 3 years, and then they did the rate adjustment.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Spark. Your ROI, based on even the current rates right now, which are pretty low, I would say. I don't think they're near their peak. I think we'll see the peak much later than now. But even at its current low, I think like 40 cents a Spark hour. I've seen as low as like 33 cents to as high as 50 cents a Spark hour, somewhere between there. Like, you're going to get your money back if you rent it out or you use it for your buildings and save on the rentals, etc. in, again, less than a year and a half at the current rate. So the possibility of you getting your full value UPX wise in less than 500 days is very intriguing to a lot of players, because that asset never goes away. So after that, you will just continue to profit essentially indefinitely. The big caveat here is, unlike properties, which just all you have to do is log in and hit collect, you do have to manage your Spark. And there's a lot of great tools out there, like the Spark Exchange, and a lot of great organizations that are helping players manage and sell their Spark and trade their Spark for different projects. But it is an active process, and you can't sell your Spark. You can rent it, but you can't sell it. So properties you can sell, which could, have a one-time injection that would be very high. Where Spark, you're never going to sell. So if you quit the game, you lose, like, that Spark is just gone, because you can't sell it. You can't move it off of the account.
Yeah. And as you can see, we're on the UPX Spark exchange right now. And, when this first started, it was right around 47. And now you're in the mid 30s right now. And you got a lot of builds that people aren't saying I'm not renting that low. So the market's taking effect and building, letting you know what your Spark's really worth.
Yeah, which again, I think is really, you said the price 460 Spark, it should be, yeah.
Yeah, because they only had 75 full Sparks for sale today.
Oh, I see. So it's actually, oh, dang. Okay, well, that's interesting. Wow, but so drop 200. So again, like, there are players who are deploying this strategy, and I think it's interesting. I think if I was getting in now, it's very appealing. The idea of Spark and being kind of a large Spark owner, like, I wish I would have been more on it when it came out. And I honestly, in hindsight, like, I probably will start participating more in the Spark activities to try and get more Spark. Because again, it is and the thing is, I don't rent mine out, but it is such an incredibly valuable asset.
Yeah. So they're seeing builds over 40 UPX are maxing out in under 30 minutes, which I still think it was nice when you were getting between 47 and 45, but yeah, anything over 40, they fill up pretty quick there. Yeah, there were 3,000 quantity of the 0.05 Spark today.
Gotcha. Did it sell out?
I did not check since I did not register,
Gotcha.
but I know the 75 went pretty quick. And that will be the interesting thing is I hopefully in these mechanics of manufacturing that your employees will be people that want to stay, hey, you stake Spark and you do some profit sharing, so you can help manufacture stuff a lot quicker, that your employees at your business are the people that are staking Spark and you give them a share of the profit is what I hope to see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting how they do that.
Because to manufacture with 10 Spark or 15 Spark or 20 Spark, that will take you a long time to produce things. And if you're having the game grow, it'll be interesting.
So May says there's 1728 left of the 0.05. So it sounds like and honestly, I'm going to log in now. I might even buy some because the value of having Spark as a business owner with cars coming out, people just don't. And right now, people don't see the value in buildings, which is kind of insane to me. So there are large projects that are taking advantage of, massive building opportunity. I would say if you are a node owner or project lead of some sort of community development, I would be pouncing on trying to get a bulk deal to have multiple houses built with the Spark prices so low. Because imagine the amount of desire for when cars come out and when things related to cars come out. Like there's going to be a point in time in the not too far future, in my opinion, where the value of Spark kind of spikes, especially before they release things like Spark mining and other ways to kind of inject larger amounts of Spark. I will say more reasonable amounts of Spark into the community, not necessarily large amounts, because I don't think that that's ever going to happen. But they need to have ways to increase Spark because they're about to increase the heck out of the demand. 16.3, I would say 16.3 is good. I heard that somebody had over 20.
Yeah, somebody was approaching 30, I believe.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so powerful. Like in a game like this, that's a lot of power that's to be able to wield, which is super cool for them.
Absolutely. So, and then you still had the treasure hunts where you got the Spark bonuses going on.
Yeah, I know people are racking up on that. I wish I had the discipline to continue doing those on a regular basis because, oh boy, so good.
You got the bonus. You got the boosted Spark treasure hunts going on this week too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh man, we still got the UK flags. I thought the UK flags were coming down on the 16th.
I don't know. The Thrifty Trader Challenge is going on in Detroit. That just ended, and that was one of the questions that was raised while you were trying to fix your video issue. How much did the Thrifty Trade Challenge affect Detroit's floor price? Even though they were the lowest, they rose up about 4% from where they were last week. Said it was probably a lot to do with the Thrifty Trader raising 4%, but at least they were stable and made the cut.
Well, what's funny is sometimes a Thrifty Trader thing will actually drive the floor down,
right?
Because everybody wants to participate. So,
and I think with Detroit being as low as the prices were, that you could get a low profit on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you don't have to travel there. That strategy has stuck with me ever since, that was something that I was missing, that, hey, I didn't understand the instant flips right away. And it's the people that just didn't want to travel. It was their easy access into a new city.
Yeah. And I think we're going to start seeing that a lot more with, cars right around the corner. Transportation is going to change drastically. I mean, we're already seeing events in so many different cities at so many similar times. It's very hard to keep up, which is not a bad thing, by the way, because the game was never designed for everybody to be able to participate in everything. You're going to see people who really start to just stay in maybe one or two cities that they maybe have their large businesses in and communities around. And you'll have, obviously there'll still be the, the super travelers that really do everything. But I think a large amount of players are going to start settling down and not traveling as much intercity as they once did.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that here with the AMA. They talked about the travel with the cars and what that all means too. The Master Builder contest was done. I did see the announcement right before we went live that the winners were announced, but I didn't get a chance to look at it. Fresno had no participation other than Big Nick, so he was the winner by default in Fresno.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So they did say that the winners were complete for San Francisco, Oakland, and Santa Clara also. And the phase 2 is going on right now.
Very cool.
St. Patrick's Day hunt. So that was a nice little treasure hunt. And the first 100 people to complete it in time got a block explorer. Now they also had another more casual where you could be leisurely about it. You get your UPX back that you put into it, and there was no clock for you to go up against. So, but you don't get the block explorer.
Oh, you don't get the block explorer?
Nope. Only the top 100 to finish the first top 100. So.
Oh, gotcha.
See, you should start getting back into these things. It's not like there's only a couple hundred of us actively playing, and then they thought it was just all rigged because you were crushing these things in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just still too good. I wouldn't want to come in and make all these new kids feel bad.
It's always an excuse with you now.
Move out of the way. Man, I crushed these events back in the day.
I did.
Yeah, I actually crushed them. But anyway.
So here's the 3 new block explorers. The Leprechaun on the skateboard, that's for the St. Patty's Day hunt. The helmet, so we could stake on the M Motors factory in Santa Clara. And we sent out a tweet earlier this week. Hey, you can stake on this. Upland hasn't announced anything, but go ahead and start getting your stake in there. And they announced today that anybody that has 0.1 stake, they're going to take a snapshot twice a week and award block explorers to people that have 0.1 staked. Also, they're going to draw winners for an UPX prize at the end too, and Spark, I believe. Yeah, one Spark.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. The ones that got in early, that's nice. And I know the UPX Spark Exchange Discord server, they got a bot on there that tells you when it's open and you can start staking your Spark. So that's a nice little reminder.
Oh yeah,
I got to mute it now. I keep forgetting to mute it, but I'm like, damn it, I forgot to mute that channel. So
yeah, I'm glad I got in because I didn't get in on the football stadium. Because it was like I tried for a couple hours. It was just too chaotic.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got my Spark on before the contest started. Plus that helmet's super cool. I'm not gonna lie, the Leprechaun's cool, and the Detroit is also really cool. So
and that was for the Thrifty Trader.
Yeah. So I mean, I really like these block explorers. I mean, it's good to see the team going away from just copying and pasting from other block explorers. So that's nice.
Yeah. So you'll have to.
Sorry, I know that you're.
But it's a legit comment. I mean, C3PO. I mean, you got a bunch of the Yankees.
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
All right, we'll leave that one alone.
Yeah.
So there was this past week. They did have the roadmap update and the AMA. The most interesting things talking about is the travel. First off, they talked about the cars and the manufacturing of it. Right now, they're looking to bring other, you can see they didn't say it, but they were hinting around, they want other car manufacturers to come into the metaverse also. Yeah. And you're going to have high-end cars and you're going to have your janky cars. So
I don't know that any of these cars, I don't think they're going to sell jalopies. Like, if you looked at the M Motors Instagram, like those cars, there ain't no janky cars.
Right. But
there's going to be more high end, and there might be more like casual models, like, the base model, but don't get it twisted. Like, there's some sick
Oh,
Like they all look really cool.
and they said the really cool ones are going to cost you, but they're going to also have your sedans and
Yeah.
your, yeah,
But
your
they're not gonna. I
grocery
don't think they're
getters.
gonna like. You think that they're gonna like code like a rusty old like Honda Civic, like '93 Honda Civic with the big glued on spoiler? Like,
I would hope so because I'd buy a bunch of them and put them all over my properties in VV.
oh my god! And then I would only do that with the caveat: it better give negative community points for the neighborhood. Better be like cell towers and trailer parks.
No, but I mean, you got to have yard decorations. So rusted out cars or up on cinder blocks, that will be great.
That would be interesting for sure.
But they did talk about, in city travel is still going to be the Block Explorer. You can get in your cars to go race. You can get in your cars to go travel from city to city. But the inner travel is still the Block Explorer. So the treasure hunting is going to stay the same. And there's still ways away to moving to real moving speed, as they call that. So your travel speed will slow down. They've announced it. They've talked about that for a while now. And then I want to race semi trucks like the cabs that they showed in the video.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And they talked about, your Block Explorers are the drivers of the car, and you'll get experience points, and you can train your Block Explorers, if it's more of an off-road or an on-road course. Don't want to rehash all that, but definitely check out the AMA if you have questions about that. There are a lot of people that speculate on what the cars are going to be and what they're going to do. But right now, Upland's still putting it together. So if anybody's telling you they know what's going to happen,
They don't.
and they don't. They don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting. The leveling the Block Explorers as a gamer, this is the first true RPG element that's going to be brought into the game. This is going to be the first time that you can level up or incrementally increase the value of an in-game asset. So that's going to change, to me, a lot of the ways that buying and trading and working with Block Explorers is going to work. I'm going to be curious, like, if all I ever wanted to do was, drive my main Block Explorer, can he max out every stat? Like, is there a penalty? Like, do I, it's going to cost me exponentially more to max out multiple stats, or do I have to declare especially? There's so many open questions on how that's going to play out. So I will definitely be very interested and be looking at that with a critical gaming eye, because to me, that's going to be the first indication of, does the development team, we know that they got the economics. I feel very comfortable with Dirk and team. I trust that they're going to release properties in a good cadence to keep the economy strong and healthy and moving forward. I trust that they're going to, release features like Spark in a way that's not going to collapse the economy. But to me, they haven't had a real chance to show their gaming chops. So I will be looking at it with a microscope for sure. That's going to be my area of something I'm very passionate about.
And then they did say that you don't have to have a building, but you have to own a property to own a car.
That's interesting, because I guess you have to park it somewhere. And then somebody actually said something, we were talking about it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a car in every city. And it's interesting because, yeah, like if you drive your car, but then you like leave it at the airport, like, are you going to need a car in every city if you want to use car? Especially like once the walk mechanic comes in play. I mean, first of all, Upland will be just a completely different game. I understand why they're delaying that particular feature launch, because there's so many things you have to take into account. It's going to completely change the Upland metaverse forever. So I imagine that will be a little ways out. But yeah, do you need a car in every city? Like, probably. If you're doing
rideshare, or
yeah, that's true, right? You'd have to use a rideshare or something. Like, hey man, can I rent your car for the next couple hours? Like, that's going to be such an interesting economy. And again, I think you're going to start seeing people like, yeah, I don't really want to go to another city. I got all my stuff here. I got my car. I got my house. Like, unless you're a jet setter like TM, and I don't know who's going to be Mr. Coast to Coast. Like, I don't know who wants that label, but for me, like, I'll probably be mostly on the West Coast, honestly. San Francisco, down to San Diego.
Yeah. But San Diego is going to be a while. I know you got high hopes for San Diego, but there's no longer a football team there. And I think they're going to continue to move along with the football teams in the lower tier cities around the stadiums before they expand to those hubs.
Yeah, that's fair. San Diego's a bit of a pipe dream, but I have no doubt that it'll eventually come. I mean, it's the marquee city for the U.S., so it'll come out at some point.
Absolutely. They did also speak about the collections coming out for your NFLPA legits. So that's going to be awesome. They said that will happen before the start of this season. We will be doing an Upland how-to by the UPX Podcast on legits to help you work your way and navigate through legits and how to set yourself up with collector scores and just an overall summary of those. So look for that to be coming here in the near future. We did just do one for the newer players on breaking down just the property card itself. So look for that too. We're going to continue with these how-to series for new players. So definitely, if you got a new player asking questions, direct them to our videos. We appreciate that. Also on the AMA, I mean, a lot's going on there. The collection cap's going to start soon. Did it take you that long to really do that?
No. But I was looking for a point to interject it. All of that information and more will be found on Upland.wiki, now in open beta. Join.
There you go.
There we go. No, it's been sitting there. I had it ready, but I just there wasn't an appropriate time. So
yeah, you just push buttons. Sooner or later, you make it an appropriate time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good AMA, and nothing earth shattering. But once again, they talked about how spark is going to be the fuel, and the more spark that you put in, the faster it fuels your car. And then they talked about our car's electric or gasoline, and they said it's whatever you want it to be. It's not going to be, the first ones are going to be electric, but it's not going to be, hey, you got to go to the gas station. Spark is going to power all the cars.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Like when they say spark is going to power the cars, like do you have to put it on your property and then like you stake spark hours and then it fills your tank? Like, and how much is that going to cost? Like, again, if we compare the effort of building a house, you would think it wouldn't take much spark to power a car.
Right.
So that's definitely going to be interesting to know. Like, what does that cost? What does that mean? And again, what are the implications to the features like racing, right? Like, hey, we need to recharge our car. And is it going to be like Sens where you get like a max number of refills a day or anything? Again, so many interesting questions. It's going to be an exciting couple of months here in the Upland metaverse.
Yeah, and they wouldn't pin down a timeline for when the cars will be released, but
I mean, they say, well, no, it can't be Q1 because we're already essentially done with Q1.
Yeah, we got like 2 weeks and we're done with Q1.
Yeah, so I mean, I would imagine again they're building the factory. Now, there is some speculation, again, how is it going to be, how are you going to mint a new car? Like, what's that process? And so I would imagine that the factory would need to mint the car.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, can people spark? Can people like stake spark to help build their car faster?
They said that they were still working on how the first initial cars, and they expect, the demand's going to be pretty high. The price is going to be pretty high for the first cars. And as it starts spreading out, because you're going to have the people that want to have the first couple of cars. So, you can expect it to, you'll see the backlash of, oh, they brought these cars, but they're so expensive. I can't afford it, blah, 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 blah. But as more are being manufactured, you know, and the more getting out there, the price will come down. You know, it's just your typical supply and demand, where you have a demand that is greater than the supply. You have today's economy.
How much would you pay for the first car?
$2.
No, but seriously, like, what do you think? What would you value? I'm not saying necessarily what would you pay, because maybe it's not of interest to you, but like, what would you value day one the first car is worth?
It's an absolute interest of mine. It would depend on, I mean, you got so much to it. One, it's the first car, so regardless of how it looks, you know, it's the first cars coming out, so it could be a collector's edition. So as a collector like that, you know.
Mike says 1,000.
Now, Crypto Motors, they were selling cars for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 when they had their release, I think a year ago. So I could see it in line with that. You know, your higher end cars are going to be couple $1,000s. I wouldn't be shocked seeing I wouldn't be shocked.
You think that that'll be the first hand price? You think that'll be like off the lot price, not even secondary market?
On a higher end car, yeah.
About $350. Dang.
I could see a couple $100, you know, for the more. But we talked about that in the other episode. You can mint properties for $5. Now, are there going to be $5 cars out there?
Right. And again, it is interesting because obviously that's not cost parity with, you know, how much does a piece of land cost versus how much does a car cost, because you would be in the pennies for the cars, right? So it is interesting to see, because I think they want to do a size parity, because there was in the cafe, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, they were doing the calculations of like, what's the up square size of a car. And I think they figured it out to be just under like 1. I think it was like 0.7 on average up square or something. So. That's
my car.
Oh,
my car in real life is only worth $1,500. I couldn't pay more than that.
Man, that is crazy to think about. Like, there's definitely going to be an opportunity to buy virtual cars for more than what you could buy a car in real life for. That's an interesting day.
I mean, you still have that now, you know, some of your trucks you're paying for more than houses. So there is that lopsidedness too. So,
well, I mean, trucks are a little bit different because that's essentially like owning a business on wheels. Like, let's be honest, like you're an operator. That's a large source of income. That's a big piece of machinery. Like, that's understandable. And I guess honestly, like a Ferrari does cost more than my house would in Cincinnati. Like, so I was gonna say it's not more than the house I live in now, but yeah.
So it really depends. And then you got the secondary market, as people will want to sell them or collect them, or maybe run a rental business as you fly into the cities close to the airport or a train station, have a couple cars there for rental. It will be very interesting to watch this.
Wow, that's actually a really interesting point. Well, the airports, not so much, because the airports don't currently have, some of the airports don't currently have properties around them.
Correct.
So like that would be an interesting development of releasing airport property so people can rent cars from there. Because that's a very specific spot. Like when I travel, I would say 80% of the time I'm renting a car from an airport, at least for business. So,
yeah. So more to come on that. Will be interesting to watch, and excited. Be interested to see how the NFLPA legit collections go. Those were my two big takeaways and what I was excited about coming out of there. And of course, we'll have more discussions the closer we get to cars. And yeah. What is next? All right.
Ooh.
Will you accept that offer? So
Boom.
there
Look,
you go.
I did the banner thing.
Nice.
Nice. All right, let's see here. Someone has sent you an offer. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, this is a nice little bot that one of the servers has, so it makes it nice and easy.
Nice. Thank you, Upland Data. So let's see here. So my property is going to be in Brooklyn. It's a mint price of 14,000 in Park Slope. Build progress. I don't know what NB.
That's for new building, mint progress.
Oh. Okay. I don't know what that means.
Oh.
What does that mean?
I didn't ask. I just looked at the main stuff, so I'll find out for next episode.
Okay. Structure none. Collections Brooklyn. Okay. They're gonna offer you this San Benito. It's a bigger property. It's got a higher mint. Yeah, on the surface, it looks like a good deal. I would say your big pieces are, well, actually, I guess it's not. It's not a good deal because the Fifth Avenue collection. So it is a better property. If you had some extra Fifth Avenues, you might consider it because you are getting into San Francisco, and I feel like 55 up squares is high. Yeah, I know the Park Slope neighborhood. That's fair. So the Park Slope neighborhood, I believe, is a node. Now, I don't know if they've registered at Upland.wiki yet. I can't vouch for that. But if they have, you should definitely check them out. But yeah, so Park Slope, that's obviously, I don't know if again, people are aware, that's a node. If you know that it's a node, it's still a pretty close deal. Because I think like that value of a property in San Francisco is probably worth about that.
So MB stands for neighborhood. So it's 6,744 out of 6,775 mint progress. So that's how many properties have been minted. And then the build progress is how many properties have builds.
Whoa, Upland Data, get it. That's freaking sweet. I was trying to think. I was like, man, that makes, got it. Neighborhood. I feel like it should be NH. But anyway, neighborhood mint progress. So, and that I can almost guarantee that Park Slope property is locked, which is why it's 74 of 75. So They're both minted out. One significantly larger than the other. It's 6,700 So actually, I mean, technically, I think St. Francis Wood is technically a higher percent built on at this point, but.
And your Park Slope, floor is 20,000 UPX, $13 US. And then with San Francisco, with your St. Francis Wood, you have a floor of. Oh, sorry, I lost it for a second.
Well, while you're doing that, I also really like how they did the collection. It took me a second. I was like 1.2.
Yeah, the multiplier.
That's the multiplier. I love that. So it sounds like there could be an opportunity for, I guess, if you're going to stick with NB for neighborhood, NB floor UPX, NB floor USD. Just saying, Upland Data, if you're listening, and that's possible. This is already amazing. I'm going to have to go find out how to participate in this. That looks super, super cool.
I'll get you the server link.
I'm pretty sure I'm in the server already. I'm in most of them. But
now the interesting thing is the Fifth Avenue floor, though, is 69,000 UPX and $60 US. And the St. Francis Wood is 44,400 UPX and $41 and change.
Okay, so the Fifth Avenue, because honestly, so if this was any other Park Slope property with the same other variables, it would probably be a good trade. However, the fact that this property is part of the Fifth Avenue Purple Collection for 1.62 multiplier, obviously then has a higher floor. So,
But yeah, so you'd say no to it.
Yep, based on that information, I would say no. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm assuming they said no, or do we not know?
They said no.
Oh, this looks like an interesting one. So we got Sunset Boulevard in LA. Mint price per area pending. Okay. I don't know what that means. Anyway, neighborhood Pacific Palisades. Man, so it's in Sunset Boulevard, which is a 2.12. Where's our oh wait, we don't have the mint price?
Oh. Mint price for 16900 West Sunset Boulevard was 165,104.
165,000?
Yes.
Okay, and then what about the Mulholland Drive?
Give me a second. I put these together in a rush, so I do
No, it's all
apologize.
right. This is still super cool. I really like the format of this. It makes it really easy once you kind of understand the mechanics. And it gives you some really cool insights, which I didn't think would be as big of an impact. But when you start looking at cities, especially like LA, Detroit, understanding, the mint progress, if it's sold out or not, and then also building progress. I really like the proactive kind of heads up to include that, because that's really going to tell you if there's, honestly, in my opinion, something cool going on, which is another reason I feel like Spark is tremendously undervalued right now, because buildings are going to be so important for establishing the validity of nodes moving forward, and really having people stand out and to be able to compete in competitions, right? Like, you can't really compete in any of the decorating contests and all the neighborhood contests that are going to come out if you don't have an established, neighborhood with properties of varying sizes and an active community. So
The Mulholland Drive original mint 14,352.
no, hard pass.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. I'm not trading 156,000 Sunset Boulevard 2.12 for 14,000 Mulholland Drive 2.34, unless I already have two other massive Mulholland Drive properties, which, spoiler alert, I do. And this was going to complete that collection. There's no, I wouldn't do it. Nope.
But the floor of Mulholland Drive is 185,000 UPX, while the Sunset Boulevard is 135,000.
Yeah, but the floor is not comparable, because this might be a floor level Mulholland Drive property, but that is not a floor level Sunset Boulevard property. Like, no.
And the difference between the 2.12 Sunset Boulevard bonus and the 2.32 Mulholland Drive, you're still bringing in way more interest off of your Sunset Boulevard property.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely a hard pass for me. I hope D little J.
They were the one that sent the offer, so they
sent the offer?
Yeah.
Awkward. Oh, yeah, they sent. Well, I hope that they don't get their feelings too hurt.
Yeah. All right. So you wanted me to look at this one.
Yeah. So I had a couple. Now I feel bad because maybe we should have blurred this player's name, but I got a couple trades from this player this week, and they intrigued me quite a bit. I ultimately, well, no, I won't say what I did. I'll let you kind of go through. So this is my property in Cleveland, Ohio. It's 56 up square, and it brings in about 40 UPX a month. They offered me a property in Inglewood, California, which is a semi, it's a semi-specific collection that brings in 222 UPX per month. So about a 5x more base value. So, right, I was quite perplexed, and I was like, I'm not really sure, why do you want this random Cleveland property for this, seemingly solid Inglewood property?
So you have 6315 Superior Avenue. All right. And so it's not in downtown. So that's not a Superior in downtown. So it's outside of downtown.
So now, unfortunately for our podcast listeners, the next statement I'm going to say, you have all the information you need on the screen now. So if you are on the podcast, you're going to have to wait to hear it. If you are viewing it, maybe pause the video, look at it. You don't need to go to Upland. You can look at it here. And so you'll probably figure out which piece of information seems out of place. You have to then figure out why it's important.
So that's, you paid 2.9 million UPX. So was this a burner property for you?
Yes, exactly. So, for those who are listening.
Wait. I think I got it. So if this was a burner property and Beep Jeep, he did a little sleuthing, and I bet you he was looking to level up during Spark Week and found something that jumped his net worth. Because if you swap the properties, your net worth is going to take a hit. But he just made a $2.9 million increase on his his net worth, and you get a little more per month, but you take a little hit on your net worth. Tricky. Is that what that was?
That's exactly. I don't know because I haven't been contacted by them directly, but they probably made 5 million UPX net worth from me because they found several of these properties that I did, to be fair, long before the official rules. Full disclaimer, I do not sell my UPX anymore, et cetera, et cetera. I use the proper UPX transferring channels from here on out. So these are historical, but yeah, must have check the chain, found a bunch that I had used as burners, and then made me offers. And honestly, I was like, good on you. I ended up accepting all of them. I lost about 5 million net worth, which is kind of sucks because that puts me, I was about 10 million away from CE, and now I'm probably closer to 15 million away from CE. So yeah, but yeah, I accepted him because hey, that's good on him. And I know for a fact he got over, I guess, director, he got to 10 million with this trade. Nice. This trade put him to 10 million. Yeah, I'm at 8.6 now. So after that trade, but I was actually over 90 for a while. Anyway, yeah,
I like that. Good detective work.
Yeah, my hat's off to him. Tip of the hat, like, well done. I probably won't be accepting anymore because my net worth took a bath, and I really want to start building it towards my CE status.
Yeah, at first I that 2.9 at first I'm like, did you buy that because you knew something? I'm like, and it didn't jump out to me. So then I'm like, burner. So no, that's good work on Beep Jeep looking for things like that.
Yeah.
All right, and that's all we have. Will you accept that deal? So I like it. We'll have more of them. We'll make sure to continue to send these, and anybody that does have that Upland data bot that sends you those offers, those are just perfect for makes my job really easy.
Nice. We like that.
So what else do you have for our listeners before we get out of here for the week?
Well, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Upland.wiki is now in open beta.
Nice.
No, in all honesty, I'm really excited. Several teams have stepped up. We got great representation from Upland Knights, from the UDU, UCC is got some stuff in there. We got some stuff from Dog Patch, the Dog Patch team. I'm trying to think of who else. LA. Hold on. Now I feel bad. Hold on. I got to pull it up because there are some people that I actually need to give proper shout outs to.
And if people want to get listed, how do they get a hold of you?
Just go to Upland.wiki. All the details should be there. If not, ping me on, I'm going to probably try and get some tutorials up in the next week or so. But in the meantime, you can ping me on Discord, and I am more than happy to actually walk you through it. So yeah, I'm let me see here. Screen, window, Chrome tab, window.
And then you do have a Facebook page set up for the Upland.wiki, and also the podcast does have a Facebook page now. So
yeah, so the wiki is actually a group that I'm going to start. So if you want to join the Upland.wiki group on Facebook, check it out. It's not very public yet, but we're going to have some great learning resources. It's going to be a no sales zone. So no posting of sales, no shilling of properties. It is strictly going to be a Q&A for players or understanding or helping, if there's questions about content or requests for content, things like that. So there's not going to be any shilling, not going to be any advertising at all. It'll be literally just a spot for those kind of questions. So let's see here. UCC's got their thing up. Elijah Wood, Elijah. Oh, sorry.
That's not Elijah Wood.
Elijah Judah has done a lot of great work. Where is we got some TNA rep with Toluca Lake and Red Hook. Where is my LA? The YouTube LA. I need to give them a call. So here I'm going to go to. I know they're in LA. And so I'm like, I know that there is I think it's El Sereno. Let's take a look here. Yes. So I wanted to give them a call. They've been doing some great work. It's Elijah. Jeez, he's everywhere. The Real LA node, YouTube node in El Sereno. So you can see people are able to upload some pictures and some content. You can join their Discord. You can watch a trailer. All kinds of really cool stuff. We have the Block Explorer list here that has some information on block explorers. We got, this is specific to the wiki. We call it the dual. It stands for Designated Upland Entity List. These are all the different groups. So we have Analytic Assassins has a page, UCC, UDU. We have Upland Barrio Latino. So they actually are creating some Spanish content, which is great. Espanol, Upland Realty, and of course the UPX Podcast. You got to have the UPX Podcast. So
of course,
like lots of cool things will be. Oh, this is funny. This is old, so you can see this. I used to keep this up to date. The last one that I had was May of 2020. It has some interesting key dates and some old stuff. Oh yeah, JFK Dizzy Diskey. There he is right there. Winner of that. There was a Star Wars event. Like, people don't remember that, right? First challenge one, the curator event. We'll be putting a lot of these stuff up. I'm really excited about it. We got, different terms. So people are making, essentially, this is a great place if you're new to just learn some different Upland terms. If you're not sure about it, how things work.
I don't see Dizzy Deuce in there.
Dizzy Deuce. Hey, that's an opportunity to go create that. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with this. We're going to have some social features and stuff. But you can see right now, I'm not even logged in. I can edit it. It'll track your IP. You can edit semi-anonymously right now. We do recommend creating an account. It's very easy. You can then also have your own user page, stuff like that. So it's definitely worth taking a look at.
Yeah. Outstanding. Definitely check that out. And if you're in a node and you want to be on it, he just told you how to get on there. Make sure you're following us at UPX Podcast on Twitter. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next week, be safe and everybody have a great weekend.
It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, Thank Me Later, and Too Stupid to Win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way in the door, hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin' in UPX.